Assalamu alaikum dear guys and welcome back to this channel. We are going to start a current affairs series on this channel and I hope it would help you all. It would not only provide information to the competitive examinations aspirants but also would provide the deep insights to all the common people out there. The basic heads of this video would help you to understand that would Pakistan default or not and what is happening right now in this country. This video would comprise of introduction, causes, impacts, the current scenario, pragmatic solutions, and in the end we would conclude our whole discussion. So stay tuned with me because I hope that this video will help you to understand the current chaotic condition of this country. Beginning with the introduction and the background, Pakistan is a country which is 27th largest according to purchasing power parity. It lies on 38th number according to the GDP. Pakistan is fifth most populous country in the world. It is a semi-industrialized state having a major chunk of GDP that comes from the agriculture setup. There are numerous causes for the current economic condition of the country. But the first and the foremost reason in my perception is that institutional corruption is so rampant in the country from the last few decades. Even the advanced nations face the same institutional corruption as well, and similarly it's happening in United Kingdom from the last 6 months. But the difference between Pakistan and those nations is that the average citizens in the advanced nations are basically more advanced and more developed. Individually, those people are not facing poverty and other social problems. However, the situation is quite different in Pakistan. People here are living in difficult situations and have nothing to complete their meals even 3 times a day. Another most important reason for the current economic turmoil is the dependence of the country on the foreign hydrocarbons and a less indigenous sources of energy setup. This has led to soared energy crisis in the country. Similarly, another reason and the cause of the economic condition poverty is because of less tourism. The reason behind this decreased tourism is because of the unsafe and uncatchy as well as the eroded tourism places within the country. Unfortunately, despite of having chaotic political instability, the rampant terrorism, the country is not being appreciated across the world. Another reason behind this cash-strapped situation of the country tourists have reduced in their numbers. Last but not the least, I think that another important reason for Pakistan being cash-strapped in the last few months is that the developing countries are basically unable to borrow in their own currencies. Likewise, Pakistan is unable to borrow in its own currency, that is rupee. And when a country borrows its imports in the currency which is not their own, they usually end up having an overburden of the interest rates. And to taper off those loans and the interest rates, they acquire more loans and in the end they end up in the vicious cycles of debt. These causes have led the home of 230 million people to the situation in which it is in complete economic collapse. Moreover, there are some natural disasters and the pandemics that have further deteriorated the economic condition of Pakistan in the past few months. For instance, Pakistan lost almost $40 billion in the recent floods of 2022. Similarly, the incidences of institutional corruption has led the smuggling of dollars across the borders. And the evidence has increased after the US withdrawal from Afghanistan. Although the country is acquiring IMF bailout packages and many loans across the globe, but even then the country is still not able to stand on its own feet. Having discussed the previous, after discussing the causes of the poor economic conditions of Pakistan, now we are heading towards the impacts that these poor conditions have generated on the people in general. In the political sector, it has been seen that economic conditions have led to political instability and political polarization. The numbers of marches and dharnas have increased with each passing day. Except calling names, the political leaders are not doing actually for the betterment of the population. Dynastic politics has increased and intolerance has been seen widely. On the economic front, it has been noticed that the remittances has decreased, foreign direct investment has also decreased, exports have shrunken, and due to energy crisis, the industrial sector has almost stopped. It has been noticed that the production base has decreased as well. Depreciation of the rupee is another major impact of the current economic political turmoil. According to the State Bank of Pakistan, currently the foreign reserves of the country stands $3.28 billion, which is roughly equivalent to pay back almost 3 weeks of imports. Dollar is soaring with each passing day. It has jumped to 278 rupees per $1 till the date. Since we have discussed the introduction, causes and impacts, it comes the turn of will Pakistan default or not. So technically Pakistan will not default. There many years back California and Argentina defaulted and IMF agreed at that time and claimed that it would not allow anyone to default. Similar would happen in Pakistan too, that IMF would not allow it to default, yet the conditions would get complicated with. Unfortunately, Pakistan is in the stage of classical debt, which means it takes loans to pay off the loans, and it again takes loans to pay off the already available loans. As the inflation is soaring and it's now 40% on average as compared to the previous figures, even then, technically, Pakistan will not default. However, the normal person is getting defaulted. Although the complications are grave, but there are many pragmatic solutions that can be incorporated to avoid these economic turmoil and chaotic conditions. The first and the foremost proposition of the idea, or you can say that the solution in my mind is that everybody in a household should work now. Culturally, in Pakistan, one person is earning and rest of the family is eating. And if it will keep on moving in the same pace, it would might cause the issue of selling the children into the prostitution or the terrorism just for the sake of gaining money in return. Hence, the social unrest would lead to further terrorism and further disorganization. Secondly, the structural reforms in the energy sector can also help to avoid the poor economic conditions. Decreasing the dependency on foreign hydrocarbons in the form of high imports and increasing the production base and increasing the indigenous sources dependency of hydrocarbons would allow the country to increase its production base. This would automatically reduce the outflux of the dollar and increase the influx of the dollar. Another pragmatic solution to maintain a stable and sustainable economic condition in the country is the imposition of exact and correct law and order. This would reduce anarchy and lawlessness in the country. Similarly, labor production should be increased. It is even cheaper, like 15 to 20,000 per day, would improve the infrastructure, buses, recreations, and etc. Similarly, new classical models of development must be replaced with the developmental models. Keeping the case studies of Vietnam and Indonesia in mind, Pakistan would follow the footsteps of these two countries. Despite facing the strict economic conditions by these two countries, both of them flourished and aced the economic superiority in the world. Vietnam fought for 20 years with France and succeeded. It fought for 20 years with America and succeeded. It fought for 1 to 2 years almost with China and it defeated China. And the main reasons for the success of Vietnamese was the national spirit of the people. Similarly, Indonesia is now among the fourth largest populous country. It has 7,000 islands, volcanoes, tsunamis are the most deadliest natural disasters being faced by Indonesia each year, despite they had a strong economy in the world. And I would like to conclude my discussion by giving the specific recommendations for Pakistan, and that is that Pakistan shall be made a country who shall make his economy strong by one major product, and that major product can be even a youth, and to this product a country shall look for. So, dear guys, this was all about today. So, if you found anything informative, do like this video and subscribe to this channel and give your worthy recommendations and suggestions regarding the next topics. I would highly be indebted to you all and I would definitely try to make the videos on the topic suggested by you in the future. Thank you so much.